I'm good.
Well, welcome everyone for joining our twice a month Q&A call with Dr. Kyle. This is a good time to come on board just to hear from Dr. Kyle a little bit about the company, about our products, and then we open up the call for Q&A. And then also, feel free to share your testimonial tonight. Whether it's big or large, or you're just starting out, it doesn't matter. We'd love to hear the progress that you're having with our products. Our top 3 products that we have with Xenesta is Chris Shade's Keto on Demand, the CBD oil, full spectrum or broad spectrum, and then our X-Fuel, which is brought by Dr. Kyle and his team as a product he's had with Xenesta for over 4 years. And hopefully a lot of you guys have been able to try all 3 of the products. I know me personally, I've been on all 3 of those products since the beginning of April. And I've seen a huge transformation in just my life. And so I'm not going to share my testimonial tonight on that right now, but I really encourage, if you have not tried all 3 products, to try them, because you'll be amazed on how they transform your life. But I wanted to introduce you to Dr. Kyle. Dr. Kyle can wave to everybody. And his
hello.
And his beautiful wife, Kathy. And Kathy had... Kathy has helped put together the XFit Challenge booklet with her expertise of diet. I should say not diet. Oh my gosh, I just said that, Kathy.
You said the bad word.
I know. I said we don't use the word diet. We use the word clean keto lifestyle.
I like it.
But anyway, so Dr. Kyle is a chiropractor of 25 years, and he helped bring Xenesta to life about 4 years ago, and then added in the Chris Shade's product early this year in 2020. So I'd like to go ahead and bring Kyle to the floor and allow him just to talk a little bit about Xenesta and the products, and then after that we'll go into Q&A and testimonials.
All right. Well, I have shortened my presentation significantly, as you asked me to do. So let me share screen if you don't mind. And would you like me to share screen?
Oh, Amy?
I just did it. You don't, you
Oh,
can't. Yeah.
All right. So this might be valuable because it's like our presentation, but super simplified. To me, the very core of what we're doing with the XFit Challenge is we're putting 3 steps together that are actually powerful in and of themselves. But when you put them together, you clearly have some synergy. For example, step 1 is clearly combining our 3 products, as Jen just mentioned, our 3 top products. And we'll talk about in just a second why we want to do that. But the step 2 is the eating plan, not the diet, but the eating plan, because that sets a foundation to actually help the products work better. That foundation is super important because eating the way that we talk about in the guide that Kathy put together, it sets the foundation for detoxification. And as you guys know, our products support, if not improve and push detoxification. So if a person's not eating this diet, if they're eating the typical standard American diet, SAD, standard American diet, they're in potentially for a world of hurt because they'll have the tox symptoms. They call it in medical profession, they call it a Herxheimer reaction. It's actually a reaction of your body trying to rid toxins faster than it can. Well, this way of eating empowers your body to detoxify in a wonderful way. So when people are shedding body fat, like they will do with this program, all those toxins that are liberated, they just won't feel them because they'll be eliminated naturally through the different paths of elimination. And then step 3 is exercise. You know, doctors have been telling us for years we need to exercise, but what the science says today is if you do 10 minutes the right way, you can receive all the benefits of exercise. So imagine telling a person they don't have to make a 90-minute commitment or an hour or a half-hour commitment every day to exercise. It's just 10 minutes. And in my experience in practice, people can find 10 minutes, especially for the benefits. So the first product, take a look at the arrow. The first product in our package is hemp on demand. Now, what makes our hemp unique is the fact that it's absorbable. Here's a dirty little secret in the industry. Only 5 to 10% of the CBD that you consume in a CBD-based product is actually absorbed and goes into the bloodstream. Well, that's not the case with ours. Ours is represented on the blue line. You can see it's fast acting and it gets into your bloodstream quickly within 20 minutes. And you mentioned Dr. Chris Shade and Quicksilver Scientific. We have literally exclusivity in our channel for this technology. So we get hemp into the bloodstream where you can really feel it. And that makes our hemp more valuable than anything else on the market. And it makes our hemp experiential. Take a look at the red line. That's what people are typically paying $75 a bottle for, something that doesn't even get into the bloodstream. So we have the blue line in our product. And as you guys know, the oil is amazing. It's organically farmed, Colorado grown, non-GMO, rich in cannabinoids and terpenes, and it's not psychoactive. It cannot get a person high, and that's important. So why is hemp part of the program? Well, take a look at the visual. It has to do with stress management. CBD has the capacity to help a person to relax, to calm down. And did you know the stress hormone cortisol is actually the enemy to weight loss or fat loss? So if you have a friend or family member that's doing the XFit challenge, you want to make sure that cortisol is calm, if that makes any sense. So what we know is CBD helps induce relaxation. And we know that CBD helps support healthy stress levels. By supporting healthy stress levels, you've given basically your body a green light to let go of body fat and to lose weight. It is really that important. The second product in the program is probably, outside of hemp, the most powerful. It's our biggest opportunity to bring value to others, and that is the fact that the word keto means your body's burning fat for fuel. It means literally fat is the fuel for your body. And the wild thing is it takes about 3 to 5 days of disciplined eating to get into fat burn. Our product is a game changer because we can help people make this shift in under 2 hours. And according to Dr. Shade, in half of the people in their in-house clinical study, half of them were in ketosis in just 1 hour. The amazing thing is you don't actually have to eat keto. It doesn't matter what you eat the night before. You literally are in fat burn the next day when you take the product on an empty stomach in under 2 hours. So imagine bringing those benefits to people. We have 6 botanical ingredients that are all empowered by Dr. Chris Shade's nanotech delivery system. These 6 ingredients are amazing ingredients because they push different processes in the human body that are healthy. And one of which, very important component, is whole body detoxification. So while your body is burning fat, it's liberating toxins, these ingredients help to support a healthy detoxification program. And then finally, as Jen mentioned early on, I invented the product X-Fuel. And X-Fuel is a big part of this program because it contains vitamins and nutrients that most adults, men and women, fail to consume enough of on a daily basis. And interestingly, these are the very ingredients your body needs to metabolize fat and to metabolize calories. In addition, we have an ingredient in the product called L-carnitine, and ours comes from Switzerland. It's the good stuff. This ingredient literally helps your body to move fat from fat storage into the furnace where it's burnt for fuel. So this is an amazing pre-workout drink for those people making a commitment to work out just 10 minutes a day. This product will support healthy fat metabolism during exercise. So that's step one, combining these 3 awesome products together. And as you guys know, we have a kit. When a person purchases this kit, they get all kinds of freebie products and, you know, an awesome value, a discounted rate on it. The second step is the eating plan, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to hand the mic, so to speak, to Kathy to tell us about this. This is an alkaline-based diet, and that's super important for whole body detoxification.
Exactly. It is low carbohydrate. So you're basically eating 85% of a plant-based, which are vegetable-based nutrients, and then a 15% protein, like healthy lean or healthy fats or healthy proteins. So in this guide, we've put together a 5-day meal plan with recipes included in the carb count, because you typically want to stick within 20 carbs during your weight loss journey. And those carb counts are included in those recipes, sorry. And the recipes are pretty much I've tried to pull the easiest recipes out. So if you don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, or easy recipes that can convert, because I know that some are vegetarian, so you can just take the protein base out, maybe substitute with another additional protein. And then as well as the 5-day meal plan, which are just examples of, how you can put the foods together to make recipes. We've included foods to avoid and foods to eat, like a grocery shopping list, approved foods. And as Kyle said before, there's over 150 approved foods on this list, foods that help your body to metabolize and burn fat, raise your metabolism, and then foods to avoid that can cause your body to hold on to fat or lower your metabolism.
So there's a couple really important things that she said. She mentioned low carb. You do not have to eat low carb to be in this program, but when you are low carb, you're forcing your body to burn fat for fuel because it can't burn all the sugars you just ate. And guess what happens when you force your body to burn fat for fuel and you've got this in your system? It's like lighter fluid on an already smoldering fire. You're increasing the metabolism of body fat. So that's an important part.
Exactly.
All right. So this is super important because not only are you, in this case, eating low carb, but lots of vegetables, your body is now shifting alkaline. Now, I bet most of you, you're health oriented. That's probably why you're here. You know the benefits of being alkaline. You know that it helps your cells to replicate in a healthy way. Non-healthy cell replication is not good from aging or from health, etc. We are supporting healthy cell replication, and we are empowering your body to detoxify, because when you become alkaline, your kidneys become more efficient at trapping toxins, which means they've taken a lot of the burden off the liver, which is an amazing way. You've got two major organs of detoxification, your liver and your kidneys. The alkaline diet supports both, but it really empowers your kidneys to do its job. And then finally, the most important part, and maybe the most interesting part, is it sets your brain up to release growth hormone during exercise. Meaning, if you're acidic, which most people are when they're eating the standard American diet, your body won't release as much growth hormone as if you're alkaline. So imagine now you've set the foundation for this, and you work out just 10 minutes a day. Every moment you're moving, your body or your brain is releasing growth hormone, and growth hormone boosts your metabolism, but more importantly, it slows the aging of everything in your body. So people who have more growth hormone, they look better, they feel better, they age slower. It's one of the reasons athletes, when they're healthy and eating a good diet, they look so good for such a long time. So the bottom line is we've put these 3 steps together all in this program guide, and the guide is really meant to empower you as a brand partner to make it easy to bring a friend or family member into the program and describe to them how to do it. That's what the guide's all about. So I thank Kathy for putting together the eating part of it. I almost said diet. The eating part of it, because that's clearly, in my opinion, one of the, if not the most important part of the whole thing. So that's it. How's that for a shortened version of the whole program?
Sound wonderful. It's perfect.
All right.
So should we, Amy, do you want to do Q&A first, or do you want to do testimonials first?
Maybe do testimonials first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on tonight's call, we have Len and we have Gary that will be sharing the testimonials. And then if anyone else who's on the call would love to jump in and share theirs, we would love to hear them. So who wants to go first?
Woo-woo.
Go ahead and feel free to unmute yourself, either Gary or Len.
I can go first.
Okay, awesome.
So my name is Lynn Tuma, and most of you know me, but I will share with you that I have been diabetic for the last 40 years, and I was on 3 to 4 shots of insulin a day for the last 15 to 17 years.
Wow.
Yes, I incorporated this trifecta of products into my life, and I've had an amazing, amazing change in my life. Tremendous. With the hemp, I came off of 4 medications, one of them being antidepressants. And the antidepressants caused me to have restless leg syndrome. So I was able to get off of both of those. Plus, for years, I used to break out with like boils and cysts on the lower extremities of my body. I thought it was from the diabetes. After talking to someone who had gone to another chiropractor, said, no, it's a form of some type of acne that doesn't come on your face, it comes on your body. And the doctors every other month were giving me antibiotics to get rid of it because they would never come to a head and never go away. After 2 months on Shade's oil, on our hemp on demand, I have never had another boil or cyst on my body. And so I do not take any antibiotics anymore. I was on them every other month. So that's one of the great things with the hemp. I added keto on demand to my regimen. I've lost, when I wrote my testimony, it was 30, but I'm down to 33 pounds. And including my lifestyle change of changing foods, I no longer am dependent on my daytime insulin. I take no shots. I take no more Humalog, no more Novolog. I take a small dose of a long-acting insulin at night called Tracebo, and that's all the insulin I take. Also, my A1C is at a steady 6.1.
Wow.
So that's almost like somebody who is a borderline diabetic. And I do believe, this is my own testimony, that the actual detoxing of my liver let my pancreas start working again. I know nothing else, because the other day I can say, my daughter said, okay, let's stop at Starbucks. I said, okay. Mom, how about a pumpkin muffin? I said, oh, Lord, have mercy. You're going to eat that in front of me? So I had one too. Yes, my sugar went up, but within 2 hours, it was back down.
Wow.
Like a normal person. I was like, I can't believe this. And I wear a G6. It's a monitor that actually monitors your glucose.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it as it's going up, and I can see it as it's coming down. So, you know, and the X Fuel, I was a little nervous to start it, I have to be honest, but because I don't do caffeine at all, and I can't start my morning now without it.
Yeah.
It really gives me that energy that I miss from having coffee. Because I don't drink caffeine because I have a heart condition. So I thought, I'm kind of scared. So Susan said to me, just start out halfway. So I started with a small pack, half of a pack. And then I moved up, and then now I can't start my morning without it. So this trifecta has changed my life. I mean, most of you on here know my age. I'm 74. I feel like I'm in my 50s. And I think that this whole company, between Dr. Shade, with us being partnership with Dr. Shade and Dr. Kyle with your product, I have my life back. So yes, it's a dream come true not to be able to have to take insulin during the day anymore.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes. I feel blessed. I really feel blessed that I was able to find these products, find you, find Susan, find Lori. It's a God's blessing.
I'm feeling blessed too, and Susan and Lori are awesome.
Yes.
So it's great to be a part of their team.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for sharing that. That is so powerful.
thank
I have
you.
tears in my eyes. That is so awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, now Gary.
Okay. Hi, this is Gary. Lynn, I share with you the age of 74.
Welcome to my world.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've always been fairly healthy. I started using Dr. Shade's hemp oil 4 years ago. I did notice some changes. I slept better, just minor things, but helped with pain at times as well. But the story I want to tell is about 3 years ago, I tore the meniscus on my left knee. Jen is my daughter, and she had to take me into the emergency room because I was in such pain. And they x-rayed it and examined and said, yeah, you probably don't need surgery, but go see an orthopedic surgeon just in case. And he says, I'm going to write you a prescription for oxycodone for the pain. And I said, no, I don't need it. He says, but you're in extreme pain right now. I said, I know, but with hemp oil and another natural herb that I use, I won't need your prescription. Thank you. And he looked at me like I was crazy and literally went home and took those two things and I was fine. Took a while to heal. But then what I also learned, someone suggested, and I tried this, of course, tearing the meniscus in my knee swelled up. So I thought, gee, inflammation. Let's see, the hemp oil is liposomal, which means it absorbs quickly. Oh, I'm going to try this. So I put it on my knee topically, and it reduced the swelling and the pain at the same time. And I used it for quite a while. I mean, several weeks as the pain finally subsided, but it really helped with that. So you can use it topically, and I have done that before on other joints that maybe ache. It works well. The other one I want to talk about is the X Fuel. So Jen and I joined Xenesta back in March, and she was after me for a while to, Dad, you got to try this X Fuel. It's really good for boosting your energy. Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. And I didn't do it. And so we've now moved to Alabama and are sitting in a hotel room back to back. I mean, the reason she's muted is that we have a lot of echoes going on. And we're moving into a new house on Monday. But in getting ready for the move back in June, I was really busy getting things packed and moving around. And I finally one day I said, okay, I'm going to do the X Fuel today. And I drank the whole thing. And later in the day, she stopped me. She says, Dad, what's going on with you? And I said, what do you mean? I just have so much energy. I just cannot stop. And she says, you're like the Energizer Bunny. She says, please calm down. Now, I have to say that's probably the only time I noticed it was the first time, but I make sure I take it every day because I feel better and I have more energy. And I've even found taking it at night before I go to bed, which she got upset at. She says, no, Dad, that's going to keep you awake. I go, no, actually, it helps me relax and I go to sleep quick. So, I think Dr. Kyle was surprised at that the first time.
I don't understand that,
Yeah.
but
so that's my use of those two. I also use the keto, but those are the two things I wanted to mention tonight.
Yeah, I don't understand that either because I'm like all over the place too. So everything.
Well, it's funny, the very first time that he took the X Fuel, I literally thought he was like on speed or something because I've never seen so much energy in my dad before. And he's never had an energy issue before, but now he realizes it actually gives him more energy in a good way. But anyway, it's pretty funny when that happened to him. So while we have the testimonial still going, does anyone else have a testimonial that they would love to share with the group? It could be for any of the products that we have. I have a testimony that just popped up tonight that I can go ahead and share, and then if anyone else wants to share, they can. So this is actually for my dog. So it's not even for a human. So dogs can take this oil too. I've been giving Chris Shade's oil to my dogs for the last 4 years. Well, let's see, probably like in June this year, while we're getting ready to move, I noticed a bump appearing on my dog's shoulder. And it was bothering me a little bit. At first I thought maybe he injured himself, and so he got a little scab and it healed. But then it just started looking something more than I should get it checked out. So I got it checked out from our holistic vet, and they diagnosed it as a benign tumor. So I said, okay, so what do you want to do? They go, well, we think we should go in and have it surgically removed. I said, okay, how much is that going to cost? And they said $1,200. And I says, no, I'm going to go home and I'm going to try to do a few of my own things myself. So I went home and I started applying the oil topically. And I think in the beginning we were doing like 3 or 4 times a day. Just doing one pump and applying it, plus giving it to him internally. We give it to the dogs twice a day in their food. We pump it in their food, 2 pumps each. And so we started applying it topically. And I have pictures, so I'm going to actually post them so you guys can see them because I took gradual pictures of it. But as of today, we were just looking at him today, just we haven't looked at it for a while. He's completely fine. There's no bump. It's completely gone. You couldn't even tell it was there. So I just have to tell you guys, it works amazingly for your pets as well. When early on, when we first got introduced to Chris Shade's product, he had his dew claws removed because we had rescued him and adopted him, and his dew claws he was constantly trying to chew off, so we had those surgically removed, and we gave him CBD oil for pain and on his incision. And after 2 weeks, when we went back to get his stitches removed, the doctor couldn't believe how quickly he had healed. So it's quite amazing. Oh, my dad wants to add something. Hold on just a sec. I got to mute myself.
The reason it works on animals and our dogs or any animal is that all mammals have an endocannabinoid system. So they all have the CB1, CB2 receptors, and their immune systems, like ours, are built to use those cannabinoids to help heal the body. So it's a natural to use it for animals.
Okay, so does anyone else have a testimonial they would love to share? If you do, please unmute yourself. Looks like Thomas has one. Thomas, go ahead.
Yes, on June 23rd, I weighed 207.6 pounds, and on 9/14, I weighed 197.2. Using the KETO on demand, hemp on demand, and the X Fuel.
Congratulations.
And in 2 weeks, I'll be 74.
That's a magic number tonight. That's amazing.
Oh, I got kicked off. So what's with the 74?
Because I'm 74 and Jen's father is 74.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I got 2 weeks, so I'm not there yet.
Okay. Well, I just have to share this. Susan and I told you we're on this group. Anyway, we go into breakout rooms, and I wound up in a room with 2 other ladies, and they knew my age, and they said, "I guess we're the sexy 70s," because they were all 70. One was 71, 72 was 74. So I guess Susan is 70 also, so she's sexy 70 also.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, Thomas, that's awesome. And if you're interested, Kyle would love for you to write up a little testimonial about your weight loss, because he's showing those on the corporate calls.
Yes.
So he would love to have a write-up of that.
Yes, he would. He would love that.
And I'm also a prostate cancer survivor. It'll be 5 years coming up in January.
Awesome for that too.
I'm a cancer survivor too, so it's awesome to hear.
Amen.
Good.
Amen.
Yes. Well, so does anyone else have any other testimonials? If not, we'll go ahead and open up the call to a Q&A. And you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask the question, or if you're not able to, if your audio is not working, you can always type your question in the chat box. So let's go ahead and open up either Q&A or questions. So does anyone have any questions for Dr. Kyle? Or if you have a question for anyone who gave a testimonial tonight, feel free to ask those too.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kathy, go ahead.
I have a customer who just got her hemp oil yesterday, the full spectrum, and she has problems sleeping. So she did 4 pumps a half an hour before she went to bed last night. And after 2 hours, she couldn't sleep. So she said she took an Ambien, which stresses me out that she's doing that. My question is, I suggested that she take some in the morning and then do the 4 pumps at night. Maybe take 2 pumps in the morning and 4 pumps at night. Because I feel like she needs to balance out her body, but I'm not sure. So whatever suggestion you could give me.
Okay, is that a question for me?
Yes.
Okay, because there's a lot of people here that also have hemp experience, so somebody else might be inspired to chime in on that. Kind of drilling down just a little bit, she took it, and did she fall right to sleep for 2 hours and then woke up? I mean,
No,
did it actually?
Couldn't sleep at all.
Couldn't
She
sleep at
couldn't
all.
fall asleep at all.
And that was 4 pumps. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Is she say that she can feel it at 4 pumps?
Is she what?
Can she feel it at 4 pumps? Like, for example,
I
if I,
don't know. I'll have to ask her that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
If I
She's
can,
had her cortisol tested, and she told me that her cortisol is high in the evening. So
Yeah.
I want to attribute to that, you know.
so speaking like from like a healthcare category, if she's one of these people that the cortisol is inverted, it's high at night and low in the morning, which is common for a lot of people that have been through chronic stress that's lasted a long time. The way you can kind of reset that is do the hemp every night at about the same time, try to go to sleep at the very same time, and see if she can go outside every single day and expose her eyes to the blue part of the sky. I mean, without any glasses on, because
Right.
what happens is your circadian rhythm can get reversed to where your body doesn't know when it's light and when it's dark. And you know, the way we were created, we're supposed to be up with the sun and go to sleep when the sun goes down, or at least relax, right? And go when the sun goes down. So get her to go outside and expose her eyes to light. About 10 minutes is optimal. If she can even look at the blue sky, not the sun, but the blue sky, that's the very best she can do during the day. And if she does that as habitually, she should be able to reset that circadian rhythm. And one other thing that you may want to try is there's an ingredient in X Fuel called acetyl L-carnitine, and that's another ingredient that when you take it during the day helps to reset the circadian rhythm, which means she would want to take it around 2 o'clock, and maybe that's about the time she could try to expose her eyes to light if possible. But if she does that habitually for about a week, it ought to start to reverse that cortisol rhythm and cause cortisol to fall in the evening and help her to get rested without having to take any sleeping pills.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Could she do like 4 pumps?
And Kathy, you had mentioned that this is her first night taking it, right?
It was last night.
Last
Yeah.
night, okay. I would definitely give it more time, because for some people, even at 4 pumps, is you're opening up the receptor cells, you're opening up the endocannabinoid system, and if it's sluggish or she's dealing with a lot of health issues, it can take time for the body to recognize it. But I even encourage some of my clients, if they have trouble sleeping, is to take it at least an hour before bed, because sometimes it can take a while to kick in for some people. But give it time. Give it time. One night is not enough to really gauge it. But follow Dr. Kyle's advice on that. Also encourage her to take it during the daytime as well. But also, I am super sensitive to EMFs, which is anything electronic. And a lot of people's, and now for me, I have just the opposite effect. If I can't fall asleep, I just put my cell phone in front of me and play on Facebook, and it puts me asleep like that. Where other people, it wakes them up. And so I always tell people, try to have no TV time or computer time, especially if you're not using a blue screen, an hour or two before bed, because that can really mess up your sleeping patterns.
Right. That's great. Great suggestion. Thank you. Thank you both.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions or struggles? Now, here's another thing too, is play around with the oil. Lori, do you want to talk about your testimonial with the broad spectrum? I can tell it for you, or you can tell it.
Yeah, I'm like, where's the mute button? Yeah, I've been using the full spectrum for over 3 years now. And part of the brand partner kit came the broad spectrum. And I said, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but one night I tried it and it helped my sleep tremendously. So I don't, this is where I say every body is just so different. How we heard Gary in how he can drink the X Fuel before bed, and it's, every body is different. So I always encourage people, play around with it. Play around with how many pumps you take. Play around with the time you do it, the time you take it before you go to bed. And, I'll be sharing my full story on Saturday, but it is time. It took us a long time to get our bodies to where we are at right now. So a lot of us have these expectations. You take something and it changes within one day, and it doesn't. And right. I love telling the story that my mom is the one who introduced it. My mom and dad introduced this oil to me. And I, at 2 weeks, picked up the phone and I said, Mom, what is this crap? It's not working. I literally said that to her. And so thankful that she is my cheerleader, because she said, no, keep going. And sure enough, 3 days later, that's when I was like, wow. And mine was a discomfort and an inflammation. So I could tell very quickly. But that's why I always encourage people at least 30 days of using it every single day. And then, you know, then you can start to see the benefits. But yeah, absolutely play around with it. Because for me personally, I take the full spectrum in the day, and I take 3 pumps of the broad right before bed. And it has been so life-changing as far as sleep. So I'm very appreciative. And who knew? I just tried it, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to add too about what Lori just said as far as the pumps go. My son-in-law, he has issues with restless leg syndrome, and he takes anywhere from 8 to 10 pumps every single night. That's his magic number. And there's even been times when it's been a little bit more, or he's felt like his legs aren't hurting that much, and he might take a little bit less, and then he'll take a little bit more if he can't go to sleep or they're really bothering him. He's also put it on his skin as well. But yeah, you really just need to have her play around with that dose and find the right spot, give it a little bit more time, and then increase and see. And then I just wanted to share this as well. I also have someone who was, she was taking between 4 and 5 pumps for several months. Then she said, you know what, I'm not, and she has a lot of anger issues. And she said, I'm not really feeling the results. Should I up it or lower it? We tried, she upped it a little bit, like 1 or 2 pumps for a couple weeks, and said, nope, I feel like it's getting worse. We actually backed down to 4, and she's doing better with that. And so then she knows if she starts feeling where that's not enough, she'll up it. So sometimes you have to bounce a little bit. It just depends.
Yep.
So
And that's one of the things Kathy mentioned is experimenting with the dose, the amount could be the factor. But the big lesson here is be consistent with it. And that's your best spot. I think that's one of the things that Lori said, you know, be consistent with it.
I know you guys got questions. Don't be shy. If you need to text me or put it in the chat. Michelle, it looks like you're going to have one. Are you going to unmute yourself? No.
Actually, Dr. Phil, this is Paula. I have a question for you. And I think I asked this before, but I wasn't real sure if I understood it real good. But like in the morning, I take my keto at around, it varies between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, then sometimes I'll snack. I'll go, oh crap, or like take some celery, take some carrots, and I'll eat a little bit just before I'm supposed to take my second dose, not realizing the time. What is a time frame that you would suggest to take between the 2 doses? Like, what is like a time frame, a good time frame?
The best time frame would be before breakfast and before lunch, or you could do before breakfast and before dinner.
Okay.
There is an argument for separating it out as far as possible, which may be before breakfast and before dinner, which is differently than the way we label it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the reason we label it the way we do is we want to kick a person hard into ketosis first thing in the morning and then right before lunch, so they can ride that out through dinner. So for example, if dinner is going to be a keto dinner, it's probably best to take it before breakfast and before dinner. But if dinner's not going to be a keto dinner, don't waste it. Take it in the morning and then, you know, before lunch. That way you're keto all day long. And when you eat that dinner with the carbs in it, you'll be knocked out of ketosis. That's what happens. You go to sleep, you wake up at a fasting state, take it on an empty stomach, and you can repeat.
Okay, because I've noticed myself sometimes it's like a 4-hour period. I go, oh, I took it at this time, and then now I'm taking it at lunch, and after I had that little snack, it's like 4 hours in between. So it's like, I don't know if that's just too soon, or if I should wait, 5-6 hours. I just don't know the timing, but.
Well, how about this for the timing? How about the inventor, Dr. Shade? He takes it sometimes 3 times a day, before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner. So, and he's also taking it before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner, and then right before bedtime. So you don't have to stick to 2 servings a day with the product. That's just frankly the way that bottle was built, was to be 2 servings a day. So, and that's enough to push you into ketosis, but you may have a reason to take more.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm not having a problem as far as my weight goes because I'm doing great on that.
Yes, you are. You absolutely
Yeah,
are.
I'm doing really well, and I've been, and actually it was down another pound, like a little over a pound. I go, really? And I'm even putting a little more carbs into my diet every day. So it's like, oh, I wanted to try and maintain my weight and stay at my weight now. So I've been kind of upping my carbs, but I was like, okay, now I'm down just a little over another pound and something. I go, I got to go back up. So I'm just trying to figure out different types of things to do and keep myself going. But it's like, I'm at the weight I really want to be right now. So, but it's
Right.
good.
Well,
It's worked great for me. So.
Yeah, increasing your healthy carbs, like adding some of those, like adding a sweet potato or a healthy carb or nut butters too, adding some healthy fats. That'll help with maintaining, but getting, healthy carbs in there and not sugary, starchy things.
Mhm.
Right, and that's what I do. I've been kind of eating a little more of my celery, and I've noticed now I'll have like a little, like at night or even in the late afternoon. I said, well, you know what? Maybe today I'll just have like a little piece of a pineapple, and I usually don't eat that because it is sugary, So
Right.
I'm a more of a cucumber person. I like my cucumbers and I like green peppers. So those are my two that I munch on a lot for snacks and stuff. So I just kind of up my cucumbers and up my green peppers, red peppers. Sometimes I'll add my yellow peppers, but yeah, I eat a lot of vegetables, so I've been doing better on that as far as eating more of those. So no sweets. I've been doing really well with the sweets because I think that's where I gained all that weight. So I was like, nope, I ain't going back there. That's out of my life. I have a new life now, so, and a better, healthier life. So
Paula, for those who have not heard your story, how many pounds are you down now?
well, now I'm like 44.2, something like that.
Wow.
Since April, right? Since April?
Since the 20th of April, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was just this morning. It was about, I think it was like 9:30, something like that. I checked this morning. So yeah, it's a lot of weight loss, that's for sure. And I was just telling Amy, I actually took pictures of 3.5 piles of my clothes sitting in my hallway that I'm actually bagging up, and I had already sent one of my girlfriends a bunch of my clothes because she is my size that I was. And she was just so thankful. And I wish I would have taken a picture of those clothes before I sent them to her, but I didn't. But I'll have these. And that's not including, my jackets, my hoodies, my sweatshirts, anything like that. I still have to go through that yet, which is probably going to make a few more piles, So yeah, it's a lot, but it's like now I have no clothes in my closet. So now it's kind of have to build it back up a little bit. So but yeah, it makes me feel so much better. When my husband looked in my closet, he says, there's nothing in here no more. It's like, no, it's empty. So, I mean, I do have some, but it's like, it's not compared to what I used to have. So maybe that's just God telling me, you don't need all these clothes, So, but it's nice.
Time to purge.
Right. Yeah. It's nice to be able to, the feeling, I'm telling you, I've never felt so good. And just to see all these clothes, I go, wow, amazing to just look at them and just out of curiosity, one day, was it last week? I think it was, I put on a pair of my pants and it's like, whoop, down they went. It was like, okay. But it was just kind of neat how I can just pull it out and say, wow, this is just, it's amazing. It's just amazing to see it, how big they were.
Well, you're very, very inspiring, Paula. Very inspiring.
Yes.
Love hearing your
Thank you.
story.
Thank
So Kyle, one thing we get a lot of questions is a lot of people are struggling with keto, whether it's the eating or staying consistent with the supplement. What are some suggestions you can give to people to be more encouraged to continue the path? And maybe it's talking about, too many cheats or not drinking enough water. Can you just give a little bit of suggestions to people who may be struggling?
Well, to me, the best part of what we can offer people is the fact that they can eat as much as they want off the approved shopping list. So they shouldn't be struggling. You know what I mean? Because usually the struggle is you're denying yourself something that you want, right? So you've got this approved shopping list, like Kathy said. I counted them. There's over 150 foods there. And if you stick on that list, you're eating metabolism boosting foods. Now you may be going over on your carb count a little bit, but they're healthy carbs. And that will make a big difference in your metabolism. So first off, I would say, try to eat as much as you can off of the approved shopping list, and don't go hungry. Don't make it hard on yourself. The other thing that's cool is the product works by pushing you into ketosis. So to the degree a person can eat keto during the day for breakfast and lunch, they can pretty much eat what they want for dinner that night. And that should give a person a lot of freedom to not feel, you know, in this diet jail, so to speak, right? Usually diets are such that you're restricting foods that you really want to consume. Well, with our program, you can have the foods that you want in the evening. Now, it may slow down your weight loss, but you will consistently lose weight. So does that help? Is that the struggle, as people feel deprived or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. And I think just people get, when they hear other people's stories of losing weight in the inches and inflammation, and they're not getting those results, then they sort of second guessing themselves, or they say this is not for them, you know, that kind of thing. So
Right.
I think a lot of times it's just being consistent. For me, I know when I'm not drinking enough water, then I know sometimes my pounds are not going down. So I just have to reflect what I'm doing. Am I not exercising enough? If
Right.
I'm not drinking enough fluids, because what we also need to understand is that as you take this product, it's detoxing your body. And so you want to be able to drink enough water to help flush those toxins out. So it's just understanding how all that works. But also I know too from hearing, I think Terry Hodges talking on Saturday on his testimonial, he said that, you know, if he gets hungry, instead of reaching for a snack or something that could be maybe not so healthy, he'll just take another sip of the keto. Or eating nuts or nut butters, or I think there's something else I think Kathy mentioned one time would be a good optional just as a snack.
Well, Kathy has made some fat bombs before, and we can post some of those recipes again, but they taste like cheats, and they're not. They will keep you squarely in the keto world. So.
Well, yeah, Lynn has talked many times on our Facebook group about how, you know, her cheats now are healthy cheats. So she doesn't even feel like she's cheating. You know, she's made some really good, healthy keto desserts, you know, and so now she goes, I eat this freely and I don't feel sinful or guilty or anything like that. And so it's just learning to cook differently and eat differently, to be able to still enjoy your sweets, but not be, you know, deprived from it.
Right.
That's what I was going to share. I released 30, I think it's 31 pounds right now. I'm going to do before and after photos so you can see. We were talking about this today about people doing them, and I'm like, I'm guilty, I haven't done mine. But what works really well for me is because I love sweets and I love carbs, right? So, you know, and so I have a recipe app and I type in the word of something, you know, maybe I'm craving something with chocolate. Maybe I'm craving something, you know, crunchy, whatever it may be. I'll type that in there and try to find something that will give me a keto friendly recipe so that I don't feel deprived. Because that I literally just go, okay, I want something junky. Let me go look for something chocolate. And then boop, there's a keto recipe. I'm making that, you know. I've never been a huge waffle fan, but for some reason I've been into waffles since I started the keto. I actually make the batter and I make enough for 2 days. And so I put it in the fridge, and then I put a little bit of the Lily's chocolate chips in there, like maybe 5 or 6, just to get that little punch of chocolate. And I'm like, I'm good. So it's finding those foods or recipes that are keto friendly, and then you don't feel deprived, because I literally am just as content with that as I am with something that's not keto friendly that was junk. I'm completely content with it. So that's been very helpful for me personally, if you're a sweet fan.
I think too.
So I do have a question, Dr. Kyle. So a customer of mine who I picked up off of a keto group on Facebook, she said to me, well, if I'm eating all this and all these greens, I'm going over my net carbs. And I told her, I don't believe you need to count the carbs in, and I'm not, you know, I'm asking you this now, like when she's eating a lot of the leafy greens that have carbs in it. Does she count those as well? I mean, I personally don't. I just count the carbs of really carby foods.
Okay, I'm going to answer because you're asking me, and we're going to ask Kathy her opinion too.
Okay.
But the answer is, if it's a green leafy vegetable, absolutely not. You don't count the carbs because they're bound to fiber, and they absolutely don't spike your blood sugar. None. There's only a few vegetables to be aware of that can take you out of ketosis. Carrots, unfortunately, are one of them, right?
Yeah.
So, many of the, not all, but many of the root vegetables can take you out of ketosis. But if it's above ground, like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, yeah, I guess any other cruciferous vegetables, asparagus, any green leafy vegetable, you do not have to count portions. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to think about how many carbs you're consuming. Because again, those carbs are there actually technically, but they're bound to fiber, and they're either not going to be released or they're released so slow that it doesn't change blood sugar in any way, shape, or form. And that's the key for otherwise healthy people or pre-diabetic people. We're trying not to spike blood sugar, because when insulin goes up, your body's burning of fat goes down, if not is gone. So that's how sweets can sabotage you. Now, the interesting thing is somebody mentioned Lily's chocolate chips. Kathy's a fan of those.
Right.
Those are very, very, very low glycemic. They're sweetened with erythritol. You can eat those and not worry about your blood sugar. And that helps kind of satisfy that chocolate fix. So with all that said, how'd I do?
Perfect. No, I would 100% agree. The only thing that on that approved food list that I would limit would be the berries. Any like the blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, those I would limit because they are, you know, high in, you know, healthy sugars, but still higher in sugar. So I wouldn't sit down to a pint of blueberries on a day when you're trying to stay in keto. I mean,
now you can't have a serving. She's just saying, you know, you can get too much.
right.
I think this lady she was questioning me about the fact that, well, you know, when I was doing real keto, because I don't call this a true keto diet at all.
So here's the problem.
I said, we don't add extra fats, right?
Yeah, well, you can add extra fats, but here's the problem. Keto out there in Facebook and all that kind of stuff, man, it's been messed up. Like, she probably has been a part of one of those groups where they act like vegetables are your enemy. Don't eat vegetables, you know, and at the end of the day, you will lose weight, but boy, are you going to age and have bad breath, by the way. So the bottom line is you've got to eat your veggies. True keto is lots of vegetables. It's 80% vegan and a small amount of protein. And you can add fats as needed and as wanted. But we found was if you really want to stimulate weight loss, fat loss, you don't consume the fats, because with this, your body's burning its own fat.
Right.
You don't need to be adding tablespoons of coconut butter if you're taking this, because your body is accessing your love handles or, you know, fat on your thighs, etc. So.
Okay, then I did give her the right advice. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Paula, you heard, Paula typed in the chat. You did hear it's lilies, right? He just said it again.
Lilies.
Lilies.
They have.
I'll send you a picture, Paula. They have at Woodman's.
Yeah.
At Woodman's, right? That's the best price at Woodman's.
They're really good. But you still have to limit those, just saying. I'm just happy with a couple. You know, I'm good.
Yep.
Did anyone have any other questions before we wrap it up? No, we're good. Well, we want to thank all of you, Lynn, Gary, I don't know if he's still on, Thomas, who else shared? Jen, you had shared too. Thank you all for sharing your testimonies today. Thank you, Dr. Kyle and Kathy, for being here with us as well. We appreciate all of you jumping on, and we're doing these the first and the third Wednesday of the month. So we'd love to see you back in 2 weeks. And if you have any questions, you can be sure to jot it down, or when we make the post, you can also comment your questions in there so you won't forget. So that might be a good idea as well. So we hope you all have a good evening, and thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good to see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.